Okay, I'd like to call to order the meeting of Monday, March 22nd. And if clerk would please take the roll.
Evening, Mayor and City Council. So when we take roll call today pursuant to the Open Meetings Act, I do need everyone to basically state physically your location. So Councilmember Archibald,
Here, I am at the City Hall in the Fire Chief's office.
You know, I believe you just have to
Just the
say the
location,
location,
like Port Huron?
like meaning Port Huron, Michigan.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm at the meeting in Port Michigan.
Councilmember Ashford,
Port Huron, Michigan, Holland Avenue.
Councilmember Lamb,
Port Huron, Michigan.
Councilmember Mosrek,
Here in Port Huron, Michigan.
Councilmember Pemberton,
Here in Port Huron, Michigan.
Councilmember Ruiz,
Here in Port Huron, Michigan.
Mayor Rep.
Here in Port Huron, Michigan. You have before you the minutes from the regular meeting of March the 8th. Is there a motion to receive and file those minutes?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Councilmember Ashford, seconded by, didn't quite catch who seconded it.
I
Who
think
said-
it was
who made
Sherry,
second?
wasn't it?
Sherry? Mayor Pro
Sherry.
Tem Archibald. Is there any changes to the minutes? Okay, then all those in favor, please signify, you can just put your hand up if it's yes. Just put your hand up if it's yes. I think, okay. Any opposition? Okay, we'll move forward to public comment. Do we have anyone in the public comment tonight? Technically, if a person doing the technical issues tonight, is there anybody in the meeting?
We don't see anyone who has a hand raised.
Nobody. Okay, then we'll move by public comment. We have next boards and commissions. If the clerk would read that.
Receive and file a copy of the completed 2021 assessment roll.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Councilmember Mosrek, supported by Councilmember Ashford. Is there any discussion on receiving and filing this?
Madam Mayor and Council, I would just note that significant growth in residential property values of about 15, which is a good sign. I mean, home values are going up. People are investing in their homes. Also, we were able to avoid a Headley rollback because there was so much new construction in the city. So there's a difference between growth and new construction, and we had significant, I believe, around $40 million of new growth in the city here. So it's a strong economic indicator that it's pointing in the right direction.
Good, thank you. Any other discussion? We will take the vote.
Councilmember Archibald,
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford,
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb,
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrek,
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton,
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz,
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. We'll move on to the first item under from the city manager.
Accepting the unit price bid from Chemtrade Chemicals US LLC in the amount of $422 per dry ton for an estimated 440 dry tons of aluminum sulfate for use at the wastewater treatment plant and the water filtration plant.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved.
Mayor Pro Tem Archibald, supported by Councilmember Lamb. Is this pretty much in line with what we normally do?
Yes, and to make it a little bit easier, because every year we want to know what the cost was the previous year. If you look at each one of the next one or action items, we actually included a spreadsheet on the back of the action item. So cost comparison, so you can track the growth and where it was last year and who bid on it last year. So
Good, thank you.
after you asked me for 7 years in a row, we kind of got ahead of it. So
Well, there you go.
yeah.
Anybody have any questions?
Yes, Madam Mayor. Yeah, I'd just like to thank the city manager for that back sheet And I see where we had trend, all of them actually have went up some. When we talk about that one, I looked at it where we went up, but not that much. So James, are they all just due to trend up?
Yeah, we're seeing across the board growth. However, these are hedging their growth to be more
Uh-huh.
moderate than other construction. Pretty good about these numbers.
Oh, okay, great. All right, thank you.
Any other questions? We will take the vote.
Councilmember Ashford,
Yes,
Councilmember Lamb,
Yes.
Councilmember Mosher,
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton,
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz,
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald,
yes,
Mayor Rep.
Yes, item 2.
Accepting the unit price bid from Jones Chemicals Incorporated in the amount of 0.708 cents per gallon for an estimated 186,500 gallons of sodium hychloride for use at the wastewater treatment plant and the water filtration plant.
Is there a motion?
so move.
So moved. Support.
Councilmember Ashford and Councilmember Pemberton. Is there any discussion? I think your explanation applies to all 4 of these. So if there's no discussion, we'll take the vote.
Councilmember Lamb,
Yes.
Councilmember Mosher,
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton,
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz,
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald,
yes,
Councilmember Ashford,
Yes,
Mayor Rep.
Yes, item 3.
Accepting the unit price bid from Jones Chemicals Incorporated in the amount of 0.07 per wet pound for an estimated 400,000 wet pounds of sodium hydroxide for use at the wastewater treatment plant.
Is there a motion?
so moved,
Support.
Mayor Pro Tem Archibald, supported by Councilmember Ashford. Any discussion? Take the vote.
Councilmember Mosher,
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton,
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz,
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald,
yes,
Councilmember Ashford,
yes,
Councilmember Lamb,
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes, item 4.
Accepting the unit price bid from Carmuse Lime Incorporated in the amount of $266.84 per dry ton for an estimated 540 dry tons of hydrated lime for use at the wastewater treatment plant.
Is there a motion?
so move.
Councilmember Mosher, supported by Councilmember Lamb. Any discussion? We will take the vote.
Councilmember Pemberton,
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz,
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald,
yes,
Councilmember Ashford,
Yes,
Councilmember Lamb,
Yes.
Councilmember Mosher,
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes, item 5.
Accepting the proposal from Mechanical System Services in the amount of $54,698.80 for the replacement of the HVAC equipment on the Palmer Park Recreation Center roof.
Is there a motion?
so moved,
A second,
Support.
support.
Councilmember Mosher. Motion made by
Madam
Mayor Pro Tem Archibald. Yes, go ahead.
Madam Mayor and Council, so we have been plagued with a couple issues with the HVAC system at Palmer Park, but additionally, the roof has been leaking the last several years. So the roof is slated to get the roof is getting replaced after July 1. So we have to replace, if we're gonna replace the HVAC, we need to, one, replace it because it needs to be replaced. But 2, we wanted to replace it before we put the new roof on, so we didn't go tearing up a new roof. So we'll do the HVAC system now, and then later this summer, when we start our new budget, we will replace the Palmer Park roof at that time as well. But we can't do the roof and then the HVAC. It's got to be the HVAC first, or you end up just having holes and stuff in the brand new roof.
Okay.
So there's that.
Any questions for Mr. Freed?
So you will see in your budget that you're getting, that I'll bring you later on this spring, we'll have the new roof budgeted for July 1st at start.
There's no discussion. We will take the vote.
Councilmember Ruiz,
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald,
yes,
Councilmember Ashford,
Yep.
Councilmember Lamb,
Yes.
Councilmember Mosherek,
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton,
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Item 6.
Accepting the bid from Martin Construction in the amount of $97,448 for the Riverside Boat Launch Bathroom Rehabilitation to be paid for with assistance from grant funds received from the Michigan Department of Natural Resources Trust Fund.
Is there a motion?
so moved.
So moved.
Boy, we got a whole bunch of them that time. Mayor Pro Tem Archibald, supported by Councilmember Pemberton.
Madam Mayor, if I give you a little explanation.
Please.
So this was a part of a grant we received a couple years ago when we redid the parking lot. We had rebuilt all the Riverside Boat Launch parking lot. And part of that grant application was we committed, and they also provided funding to rehabilitate that are down there. They're about a small bathrooms, about 430 square feet. They're a men's bathroom and a women's bathroom, but they will be rebuilt to be 2 unisex bathrooms because disproportionately amount of men are using it, and it just works out better that way. I will say this is our 3rd time bidding this project. The last 2 times we have bid this project, the bid amount came in at about $169. Director Witter was not satisfied. He had a lot of money, and Director Witter felt that if we rebid it, we could engage more local bidders to get a better price. And because of that and his determination to save money, we were able to get Mark Construction to do it. I had, I believe, a cost reduction of right around $71,000 from the last bid. And so because we went and because Director Witter solicited local vendors and got on the phone and asked people to bid, we saved a lot of money. So kudos to him and his team for being determined to be good stewards of the taxpayer money.
Absolutely. Any questions? When is the work going to be done?
ASAP.
ASAP. It is getting to that time of the year.
Yes.
Okay. If there is
And
no.
2x4s are not getting cheaper. So
No, they're not. No, they're not. We will take the vote.
Councilmember Archibald,
yes,
Councilmember Ashford,
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb,
Yes.
Councilmember Mosherek,
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton,
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz,
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Item 7.
Accepting the quote from the Minnesota Children's Museum in the amount of $53,800 for hands-on play features to be placed at the Port Huron Museum's Carnegie Center.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there support?
Support.
Moved by Councilmember Mosherek, supported by Councilmember Pemberton. I wonder if Mr. Freed, you'd like to tell us what a good bargain we got with this.
yeah, so first let's go back. Mayor Rep and I believe Pro Tem Archibald were there. We had a meeting with the county officials, the Conventions and Visitor Bureau, the chamber leaders, the county administrator, the chairman of the county board. We had the museum officials there, some of the museum board members, and the mayor led a roundtable discussion on how vital and important our museum sites are, whether that's the lightship, whether that's the Edison Depot or county lighthouse run by our museums, or the Carnegie Center. Our museums are vital to really our culture and our heritage here. And the question becomes is how do we make them more family friendly, more accessible, and provide something that the community doesn't have? At that time, Veronica, the museum, and I began having conversations, and Nancy joined in because she's an expert at this. And we talked about at that roundtable, a possible children's museum where there was hands-on learning for kids so they can get in there, do some STEM learning, do some experience learning, but at the same time have access to the entire facility. We also worked about how we can make it cost-effective, all families to have access to that. Right now, to enter the Port Huron Museum, it's right around $12 for an adult and around $1 for kids. That's not doable for a family of 3 in our community. That's a lot of money. And so we're working with the museum to work on a rate structure that makes it accessible. But we really want something for the kids. This is something that's been talked about for a long time. So Nancy, I believe, is on. I think she's going to start her camera and mic here to tell you about what we're doing. This originally cost to construct by the Minnesota Children's Museum around $800,000 to $900,000 to build. That's how much they cost to build it. They listed it for about $100,000 to sell. Well, they sold one. They had two duplicates. They sold one to another community for $100,000, but they desperately need the storage and get the stuff out. So they're willing to sell it to us for right around 50 grand. So we're going to get about an $800,000, $900,000 children's museum set up for about 50. Now there'll be some labor costs and some ancillary costs throughout the summer getting this set up, but it's a very good deal. Now I think Nancy's on, so she can tell you about the fun stuff, as I am not that fun as Nancy is. So is Nancy?
I'm having some internet connection, but can you hear me? Okay.
We can hear you. Can't see you, but can hear you.
Okay. All right. You'll just have to imagine my face.
Okay.
This is really exciting. As you know, we're always looking for some innovative playthings in our city. This will be owned by City Rec, and we'll do a cooperation with the museum. But there's some really cool things. There's like little houses that they can play in, post offices. There's a little market. There's all kinds of really interactive things that we can switch off. A little theater area. This was a really good find because we needed something that was going to be universal, that we could use in a lot of different spots if we needed to. And we were kind of lucky to fall upon this. So I think it'll be a good addition to the museum and great for the community, because great for like toddlers to get a chance to come out, like especially in the fall and winter is kind of when we're planning on launching this, and something to do in those months where they can't be outside playing. So we're excited about. I think it's going to be really cool.
What age group is it going to appeal to?
Well, toddler primarily, but I think up to like 10 or 11 years old, we'll still think it's pretty cool. Because there's a lot. It reminds me a little bit of Sprout City with all the little houses. We're going to try to, make it for like Port Huron, like I think in some of the buildings eventually, so that we're teaching history as well. So I think it'll be really cool. We're going to work with the museum to come up with some creative things.
Nancy,
Yes.
what's let's say you have that open, it's ready to go. What's the capacity, figure a number of kids there that
Well,
are able to participate?
It's the whole first floor. So, I mean, I'm going to say, I don't know exactly the square feet off the top of my head, but I'm going to say like at least 100. I mean, if you use both sides of that art gallery, I think you can get at least 100 kids or more. I would have to get a little more information to know exactly, but I mean, they use this as part of their whole display at Minnesota. So it's going to depend on how much we can fit in there once we get it and once we can kind of lay it all out.
May I ask, was it also for the people in Minnesota, was it a point of destination as so many schools have field trips?
Yes, they did that as field trips. They did reading and stuff that went along with the theme. And I know Veronica and Andrew are working hard to come up with what those themes can be for Port Huron, like things that were important to Port Huron and how we can tie it back in. I know that they just put in a new permanent display, which we could tie in with schools as well. So I'm hoping we can down the road tie in different themes like that. So,
Thank you.
Any other questions for Nancy?
Mayor Rep,
Yes, Councilmember Mosher.
maybe James could answer this. I'm just curious on the shipping of this, James. Is the Minnesota place responsible for getting that here, or is that on our tab, or how are they doing that?
They're going to bill us $1,000 for the shipping on top of it.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for either one of them? Thank you. Thank you, Nancy.
Thanks, Nancy.
We can go ahead with the vote.
Councilmember Ashford,
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb,
Yes.
Councilmember Mosher,
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton,
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz,
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald,
yes,
Mayor Rep.
Yes, I think it'll be a nice addition to our museum. Resolutions, number 1.
Authorizing and approving the submission of the annual action plan for program year 2021 to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development for their review and approval.
Is there a motion?
so moved,
Mayor Pro Tem
Support.
Archibald, supported by Councilmember Lamb. Any discussion? We'll take the vote.
Councilmember Lamb,
yes,
Councilmember Mosierek,
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton,
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz,
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald,
yes,
Councilmember Ashford,
yes,
Mayor Rep.
Yes. We'll move on to resolution number 2.
Approving the proposal with Collins Engineers Incorporated for underwater bridge footing inspection services for the 7th Street and the 10th Street bridges.
Is there a motion?
so
So
move.
moved.
Support, whatever.
Mayor Pro Tem Archibald, supported by Councilmember Ashford. Any discussion?
Just note that this is required to be done every 10 years, and this is for the underwater stuff. They call it scoring, so like water and current and what that does to the footings. Piling, is
Okay.
what you want to call them.
Any discussion, questions? We will take the vote.
Councilmember Mosierek,
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton,
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz,
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald,
yes,
Councilmember Ashford,
Yes,
Councilmember Lamb,
yes,
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Item 3.
Approving the proposal with Armosa for the water plant's programmable logic controllers replacement recommendations report.
Is there a motion?
so move. Support,
Councilmember Mosierek, supported by Councilmember Ashford. James, do you want to explain what this is?
Yeah, so what this is highly legal, and we're gonna need this firm to go in there and give us recommendations on how we should replace it and how we should go about upgrading these. And so they'll go in there, they'll advise us, send us a bunch of recommendations, and help advise our staff on what we should properly bid out and how it should look.
Any questions for Mr. Freed? We will take the vote.
Councilmember Pemberton,
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz,
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald,
yes,
Councilmember Ashford,
yes,
Councilmember Lamb,
yes,
Councilmember Mosierek,
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. That concludes our regular agenda. There is a couple of announcements for anybody who's listening. Winter decorations in Lakeside Cemetery must be removed from the cemetery plots by March 31st. Removal of remaining items will begin April 1st. Weekly curbside yard waste pickup in containers or compost bags resumes the week of April 5th. And I know there's one on here too that it's not in front of me, but the actual snow ordinance for parking on the street does end on March 31st as well, where you can park in the street overnight. Also, the city of Port Huron routinely monitors our drinking water quality and provides to our customers the results of this monitoring annually through our Consumer Confidence Report. The 2020 Water Quality Report is available online at www.porthuron.org/ccr.pdf, and a link is printed on each water bill, which provides direct access for viewing. If you are unable to receive this report online and would like a paper copy to be mailed, please call 810-984-9763. A couple of other things. As it stands right now, this is going to be our last virtual meeting. We don't have another council meeting for 3 weeks, which is April the 12th. The plan is to go back to meeting in person at that time because there is no provision in the law to allow us to meet this way after March 31st, unless something changes in the law. So I know that it's something that's being worked on, but not necessarily do they think it's going to pass. There is a limit of 25 people at a public meeting, and we would be resuming sitting 6 feet apart and wearing our masks. This is all subject to change, of course, but as it stands right now, that our next meeting will be in the office, and it will be in 3 weeks. So I will keep you, or someone will keep you informed as to if that changes any, and we'll certainly let the public know well in advance. Also, I believe that starting the first Friday in April, and you can correct me, James, if I'm wrong, we're going to have the Friday night downtowns the first Friday of the month,
Yes.
starting, which would be April the 2nd, correct?
And I believe there will be music for the first event.
Yes.
For the first
Yep.
event.
And hopefully it's warm. It's been warm the last little bit. Hopefully it continues to be warm so that everybody can enjoy it. Also on, I got the schedule probably right, April 26th meeting, which isn't all that far off. We will be getting our budgets and scheduling a public hearing. The public hearing would be May the 10th with, of course, proposed adoption at our meeting of May 24th. We will need to meet in a work session sometime between the 10th and the 24th. So if you could at least let the clerk know what your availability is for those days. I would say leaving out any Friday nights, but anywhere in between. So if you could let her know what the availability is so we can come up with a consensus for a date for a workshop. And I think that's about all I have. Is there anything anybody else has?
Madam Mayor, if I could.
Sure.
I'd like to take a moment to congratulate both Mayor Rep and Council Member Ashford for being featured this by the Michigan Municipal League for Women's History Month and Black History Month for their historic roles. As Pauline is Mayor Rep is the longest serving mayor and also the longest serving female mayor in Port Huron's history. Council Member Ashford is a vice president of MML, I believe in SEMCOG as well, our regional and statewide associations, very significant. So we have two very notable and distinguished statewide leaders here who were featured on that wonderful organization at all their statewide media. So I was just an honor to be able to have our city featured in that tone and manner. So congratulations to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, James. Yeah, Pauline, I was going to congratulate you on the article in the review.
Oh,
that I
yes.
saw. And then I also like to share with the council that James participated in a panel discussion with the Tuskegee Airmen and the people from up north there, NOAA, the group, and it has exceeded its, I don't know, the media thing or something, James, I don't even know if they told you, but it kind of just topped the chart, you know, on your participation there. So I would just want to thank you, and I want to thank Pauline for her upcoming involvement also in the rolling out of the Tuskegee Airmen dedication that is scheduled for August the 26th through the 28th here in the city of Port Huron. So thank you, and I hope we have all you guys' support behind that.
You know, Councilmember Ashford, I was driving just recently back from Florida, and the whole I-75 in Kentucky has signs up. It's dedicated as a memorial trail for the Tuskegee Airmen. And so is, and then when you get into Ohio, it also has one of their rest stops that's dedicated to them too. So I had no idea until I started seeing these signs popping up all over the place. So yes.
Wow. Yeah, it's the 80th anniversary of the Tuskegee Airmen. And actually, they got something where they made a home here in Michigan at the Wright Memorial Museum. So it's going to be housed there. It used to be independent, but I think the funding got kind of tight. So they're in with the Charles H. Wright Museum. So it'll be there dedicated. So when they bring the stuff up here, we've been working with Veronica of the museum, and also Thelma is involved, in the Port Huron Area School District is involved. So we got a lot of grassroots people here that we're engaged, you know, so it's not just, you know, black and white or this group or that group. Everybody is getting in on board to make sure this be a, you know, a fantastic and well-connected dedication.
Very good. Anybody else have anything? Then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned.
Okay, thank you.